There's a way to hack your brain for maximum productivity. It is very simple, takes little to no time, and results are guaranteed. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear understanding of what makes you tick and how to make sure your brain works for you and not against you. Welcome back. Hello everyone, Leon Castillo here, CEO and founder of Selfmastered, which is a company that specializes in peak cognitive performance for entrepreneurs and business leaders. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing because we release a few videos every week to help people like you accelerate their careers and businesses at exponential speed. So, today I want to discuss something that it is extremely powerful when done right, although it can rapidly deplete your energy reservoir, so you need to be very careful. And how can you hack your brain for maximum productivity? So how can you make sure that you are extracting as much output as possible per unit of time invested, right? You don't want to be the kind of person that takes 3 hours to do something other people can only take 10 minutes, right? Because the person that only takes 10 minutes and avoids any loss of productivity in that meantime is going to be miles ahead of the guy that spends 3 hours. And the key skill to cultivate here is the art of internal deadlines, because urgency is what will hack your brain for maximum productivity. The ability to manufacture urgency in your life so that you are operating at full speed at all times. And that's a measure of how good you become at setting internal deadlines and then honoring those internal deadlines. And in my experience, in my years mentoring and coaching, I believe this is probably one of the biggest differences between top and low performers, right? Top performers are able to self-motivate themselves, create their own internal deadlines, and then race towards those deadlines at the faster speed they can muster, right? So for them, anything artificially created in terms of deadline, it's still a deadline, and they still honor them. But low performers or average performers, they cannot muster the necessary motivation or discipline or work ethic to honor that internal deadline if that deadline is not internal but has been exposed by someone else, right? So they would only work if somebody else has told that person that they need to work on X, and that X, that project, that whatever is due at a certain date. If that's not the case and they have an internal deadline, they will obviously go and let it fly over their heads. So you can hack your brain by learning how to implement effective internal deadlines and powering through them. And there's a very interesting phenomenon that it's now part of the pop culture, I believe, which is the Parkinson law. And this comes from a Foreign Office British civil servant, 1950s, who said that his work accounted for the allotted time it has to do it, right? So if he had 7 days to do something, it will take 7 days. If he had 1 hour, it will take 1 hour. So that the nature of the effort he was putting in the task was elastic, right? And this leads me to the conclusion that the more you compress the time you have available, the better you're going to drive superior results. Now, there's a caveat here, because you cannot be racing against the clock every single day of your life. You're obviously going to burn out. So you need to learn how to go very hard and towards self-imposed internal deadlines, while at the same time honoring your own biorhythms. Because we are not machines. We are biological entities, biological complex systems that need to be optimized for high performance, right? So you need to pair the ability to work against the clock with your ability to summon your psychic energy, your attention for doing the task. Hopefully this is clear, right? So it's not a matter of just racing against the clock every day, because then you're going to burn out. And you need to understand that your performance follows ebbs and flows. You need rest and recovery periods just as you need stress periods to grow. So to drive this point home, unless you learn how to set internal deadlines and you become extremely good at following through them, you won't become a top performer, because top performers are normally a measure of self-commitment intrinsic motivation, and self-fueled speed. And this is basically how you can hack your brain. So, and this happens, let's get deep into what's the science behind it. If you think about it, your brain is designed for survival, not performance, right? So the natural tendency of the brain is to avoid pain, seek pleasure, be homeostatically stable, and really make sure you don't die, but that's it. So there's no ulterior motive for growth. Growth and the need of goals to live, that's mediated by the prefrontal cortex, right? From the rational part of the brain. That's not something you have intrinsically inside. So the way you can bridge the gap between your rational side of the brain willing to chase goals that provide meaning to your life, which everybody has that, and the willingness of your limbic system, or your most primitive part of the brain, of not doing anything, because what it wants is to be safe and secure and indulge in pleasure, is precisely by signaling the oldest part of the brain, the basal ganglia, the limbic system, that you have a threat. And the only way to avoid the threat is by working. So by setting an internal deadline with your rational part of the mind, you are signaling the oldest part of the mind that, listen, we need to honor this deadline. We need to make sure we achieve this, or danger will happen, or high consequences will appear as a result of not honoring this deadline. So the way of focusing your mind is by artificially telling the oldest part of the brain that there's a predator that will show up if we do not honor this deadline. And that's how, because it is intrinsically wired for survival, it will understand that survival is predicated on your ability to finish this task, and it will help you finish this task. So hopefully this is clear, because to me it's absolutely fascinating. And once I started studying evolutionary psychology and really understood the power of harnessing the power of internal deadlines, everything changed for me. Because I trained myself and then I started training others in precisely doing this. How can I hack my brain so I do not have any loss of productivity? And in fact, you know this to be true. One of my mentors say that the devil awaits on an empty calendar. So every time you have an empty calendar, that you're not working towards something, that you're just laying without actually producing something, that's when bad thoughts come to your mind. You start feeling uneasy. You start second guessing yourself. So, I mean, you know how the mind works, right? Hopefully this was useful. Please let me know in the comments below. Share anything you might be struggling with, and we'll create a video to help you. And of course, like, subscribe, RT, share, tell your mom, do anything you know you need to do so that we can keep growing and keep helping more people. And if you want a proven system that obviously helps you set internal deadlines for maximum impact in your workflows, sign up for the Selfmastered Evolution program, apply for the Selfmastered Evolution program. Let's have a call together. Let's see if this is indeed what can help you transform your behavior and your performance for good and forever. Thank you very much.